Hello. It's morning. That's why the hair is a little slicked back. I had a very I've had several over the course of years, even macabre questions about a topic that I never really approached or broached. I think both is grammatically correct. Simply because I'm not an expert in the field, and I'm not legally qualified to consult individuals on it, so I'm always a little afraid to discuss it directly with any one individual, and that is suicide. And a lot of people, well, it's just weak or stupid people. Okay, well, there is that element, but especially in the throes of the Great Recession, there are a lot of people who were, a lot of people did commit suicide. Suicide always goes up during economic downturns. And my life certainly hasn't been roses, and I wouldn't say I was, full on contemplating suicide, but I think everybody in a while at least has the thought, like, God, wouldn't it just be, is this really worth it? And so after thinking through suicide and some other things and, my own personal observations, I thought it'd be good to put together a video to address it, because I can't, from a therapist or professional standpoint, but maybe I could give some pointers and observations to people who maybe not even necessarily suicidal, but are just depressed. And God, look at the economy, look at the country. Especially for men. God Almighty, there's you've been replaced by the government. The women are just absolutely atrocious in terms of quality. To find a quality one to start a family is impossible. And even if you did want to start a family, would you necessarily want to bring them into this world? So you take that away from guys, there really is not much left for men to live for. And video games and booze and traveling is all fun, but understand you are programmed to pursue the things that you've been replaced by via the government. So I apologize for the structural nature of this, but I did want to kind of make sure no one comes in me, you killed my son because you killed him. So, first thing I'd recommend, watch Stefan Molyneux's video, The Greatest Gift of the Universe, or From the Universe, rather. You could find it either on YouTube or freedomainradio.com. That will put things in perspective. A lot of, I guess, the suicidal people are just kind of woe is me, and I don't think I'm necessarily talking about that group of people. But that accounts for I'd say, disproportionately high group of people, like the emo kids. So while you watch that, they'll give you a swift kick in the ass and put things in perspective. Second, read the book Enjoy the Decline. I think that addresses more of my market, where you're typically a guy or a gal, and you just like, well, where's this country is turning into a socialist shithole. And, we're letting people in who just don't care about freedom, don't appreciate freedom, and we're raising and brainwashing kids. Look at the millennials. They couldn't care less about what the forefathers did for us. So now you're wondering where, what did you waste your past 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years of life on? Is it worth? So read Enjoy the Decline. That'll kind of put things in context. And then always, not always, but I'm not a big fan of therapists. I believe psychology is a bullshit field. I really believe that you're just talking to a friend or trying to find someone that will listen to you. But where the value of having a therapist comes in, I believe, is having a third party who not necessarily believes all the gobbledygook of Freudianism and Jung and all this other genuine, veritable bullshit, but you have an independent third party who isn't your family, who isn't your friends, who does not have a familial or social connection to you, which would make them lie to you to spare your feelings. So if you need, someone to go talk to, always talk. And if you're thinking about suicide, like you actually are contemplating it, yeah, what the hell, you got nothing else to do. Why not, before you pull the trigger, go talk to a therapist, see if they can help. And that's where the more professional stuff comes in. Now, my personal philosophy on suicide. And I've outlined it here. Let me see if I even wanted to follow my previous outline. Let me say this. I am not the type to say, no, Bill, don't do it. It's not worth it. You know what? Sometimes I could see where it would be worth it. It's no secret that I'm an advocate of the Smith & Wesson retirement plan, but that's usually advocated when you're terminally ill, in pain, or a vegetable or something like that. But I could see where you've had just such bad luck and you have become so crippled socially, psychological, one way or another. Don't say psycho, because then people are going to go sue me. Let's just say I'm not the one to say that, no, in all instances and circumstances, suicide is not worth. No, bullshit. I could see life getting so unbearable that it's not worth living anymore. All right? Now, having said that, before you do this, this is my psychology or my approach to this. And it's going to kind of backdoor you into a way to see life or appreciate it in a different sense. Let's say you are committed to committing suicide. Okay? You have what I like to call God status, or what in video games is God status. You can do anything. See, the majority of the reasons why people have problems is usually financial, romantic, which also can be intertwined with financial, or some kind of problem that is usually brought about by you having to adhere to the rules of society. Well, if you're going to die, what's the consequences of disobeying all those rules? Like I, for example, before I commit suicide, I'm going to try to pull off like a jewelry heist or something. All right? Not even for the money, just to see if I could do it and get away with it. Because finances, again, tend to be the primary reason of suicide. So, okay, think about this logically. You are saying my problems are financial and they're insurmountable. So the option is death. No, it isn't. If your option is death, if you're thinking about that, you got a whole ton of other options available to you, like theft, stealing, pulling off the great jewelry heist, and everything else. So you could see, this God status. Now, will you pull it off successfully? No. But all options are on the table. All options. All right? So whatever your problem is, if you're thinking about suicide, before you do that, go do some crazy-ass wild shit before. And I'm not even necessarily talking illegal. I'm saying if it's that bad, what would you rather do? Run the risk of getting in jail, solve your problems, or run the risk of getting in jail, fail to solve your problems, the cops are coming after you, okay, fine, then you could kill yourself at any time. I'm just saying that will solve the problem at hand. Let's not even talk about solving your problem. Let's just talk about, don't you want to try and do something before you leave? Now, if you're terminally ill, you're a vegetable, you can't do anything, that's not what I'm talking about. You're depressed, you're down, you see no hope. All right, there's no hope. You've decided you're going to kill yourself. Okay, now hold it. Before you do that, don't you want to see what Australia is like? Don't you want to go check out, I don't know, China or go to Peru? Whatever it is that you like. Wouldn't you want to go right up to that girl, ask her out, or go up to that guy and grab him in the ass? All right? You, again, God status. You could do whatever you want to do. And here's the other thing with finances. Let's say you don't have the money. Really? You don't have the money? You can't go get a credit card? You can't get a loan from a bank? You can't somehow obtain financing and then go on your whirlwind tour? Right? In other words, basically what you have is ultimate freedom because you no longer have to abide and adhere by society's rules. Now, what that is going to do is that's going to, while you're out traveling around, doing whatever you want to do, that's going to change your perspective on life. And it might change your perspective on life to the point you might actually appreciate life and change your mind or find something out there. So the reason a lot of people commit suicide is they think they have no other options. They think they're stuck in this world, attached to that person, stuck in this job, stuck in that town, stuck with this house. Oh, how many people killed themselves because they couldn't make the mortgage payment during the housing bubble when they should have just walked away? What's worse? Walking away and have a bankruptcy on your track record, which everyone seems to have forgotten by now. Oh, well, we understand it was the recession. Hell, half my friends have freaking bankruptcies on them. They're fine, all right? What's worse, defaulting and walking away from your house, having that little black mark on your record, which isn't even there, or being dead? My friends who filed for bankruptcy and had the houses are still alive and enjoying life, all right? So you have all these freedoms, and if you allow yourself to pursue these freedoms, you might find reason to live. You might find out that you're not stuck as much as you thought. Oh, sure, you might break some rules and some laws. Oh, sure, you might have shame or whatever it is, but that's better than being 6 feet under. Right? Finally, your perception will change, and I kind of alluded to this before. But for example, I hate Minnesota. I hated it. I could get out of here. And so I moved to Wyoming because for some reason some recruiter found me out of the blue, and I went to Wyoming. And you know what? There are places worse than Minnesota, and Wyoming is one of them. It's like, and then you get perspective. You're like, you think you're not achieving a lot in Minnesota because you're living out in White Bear Lake, and it's a reasonably rich suburb. And well, go to Wyoming and go to, what's the town? It's a suburb of Casper. They have them. No. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't have to be this suburb. Most of Casper is trailer parks. Or a disproportionate, I should say, percentage of its housing is trailer parks. I mean, you want to feel good about yourself. Just go and look at some of the losers out there. I mean, you want to talk about meth head, trailer trash, pregnant at 16, capital of the world. Go to Casper. And if you think you got problems, look at that. And they're so dumb. They're clueless. They're blissfully ignorant about how screwed their lives are. But they're still happy because they're drunk at the bar. So whatever it is, going to a different place, changing your environment, and that doesn't even have to be physical environment. It could just be changing your routine. Go to a gym. Go pick up a new hobby. Something to change it. Dump your girlfriend. Dump your boyfriend. Tell your boss to fuck off. Go on the dole. Whatever. You have to change things up. You owe yourself that minimum amount to change things up in your life a bit before you pull the trigger and commit suicide. And I almost want to guarantee, I can't guarantee you, but I almost guarantee you that you will undo or break or disconnect from whatever it is that is keeping you down and driving you towards suicidal contemplation. And you will also then get a different perspective or see a new opportunity or see a new purpose and reason to live life. All right? So that's one thing. And then finally, this is more of a dark, macabre approach to suicide. What else do you have to do? See, remember what it was like before you were born? And you can't because there was no memory. And I like to say it was blackness, but it wasn't even blackness. You weren't even there. You were not even cognizant. Your brain did not exist to contemplate, hey, this is pretty dark. There's kind of nothing going on here. You didn't even have the concept of nothing because you didn't even exist. So there was nothingness, not blackness, nothingness. So you're alive today. You're sentient. You're living, And are things going as well? Are you like, is your grandma a rich banker who spoiled you rotten, paid for everything so you could go and kind of make believe that you were a smart person and you went to Harvard Law and then you became president of the United States? No, we're not all that lucky. Some of it sucks. Some of it really sucks. But that doesn't mean your life is over. That doesn't mean this movie isn't happening. And so that's how I kind of like to look at life. Life is... it's like a really, really, really realistic 3-dimensional movie, or 4-dimensional, I guess, if you're actually in it. What else have you got to do? See, you can make all the money in the world. In the end, you still got to wake up, you still got to entertain yourself, you still got to stimulate this old thing in your brain up there, your skull up there. And that is when it really gets hard. When you realize you don't need all the money, you got everything you need, and you've conquered everything. And you're just kind of like, okay, what do I do now? That's hard. That's tough. Video games start to lose interest. You got to stay physically fit. You got to go hell, I mean, drove to Alaska and back. You got to find, something to stimulate that brain. But if the option is going back to that nothingness, I don't care. Well, sure, let's go live in the ghetto. Let's get shot at. It's something. In other words, you have to take the net or the absolute value of existence, even if it's bad. Now, I'm not saying if you're being tortured all the time. I'm not saying like if you're in constant pain, that's not tolerable. But let's say you're not rich. Let's say you're just like poor. Let's say you're barely getting by. Let's say you're hungry. But you still have friends. You still have people to talk to. You have some kind of social network. What else? What the hell else are you going to do? What, are you going to end that? Because this is it. This is the one shot you get. This is it. I don't care how bad it is. There's always something else to do. There's always something to entertain your brain. And you could just go and sit, like, this sounds odd, but... So the best times I ever had was sitting at this mall called the Harmar Mall. And it's just this rundown piece of crap mall. It's getting ghettoized, but we'd sit there and me and some of my buddies, we sat out in front of the Baja del Sol. And we're just looking at this parking lot. And it was just kind of like, it was something to look at. It was there. Occasional cutie would walk by. But it's just like, it's here. Having discussions, smoking cigars. That was it. That was all there was to it. It wasn't a nice parking lot. It was an ugly parking lot. It wasn't a nice mall. It was an ugly mall. It was just kind of, this is, okay, something to do. Because there's at least something to do. Otherwise, there's nothing to do. You wouldn't even be cognizant of there's nothing to be done. And don't believe in that, there's always heaven. I know religious people, pat on head. I know. All right. But for the rest of us, yeah, it's over. Once you pull that trigger or jump off the cliff or whatever it is, it's over. And again, I'm not necessarily, I could see sometimes where there might be a case. But that is such a rare percentage of the cases. You really just got to go and appreciate it. Life is not supposed to be all excitement and make your money and 50 cent and, make it rich or die trying. That's not how it is. And those people aren't even the happiest, I'll tell you that. But in general, think about, one, to simplify everything, try a couple things differently before you go and kill yourself. Even if it means breaking rules and laws like, going default on your mortgage, not paying your student loans. Because what's the worst that'll happen? Well, the worst is you're going to kill yourself. Well, okay, everything is pretty much better than that. And then the other thing is start to realize and appreciate life for what it is. It's not supposed to be, yay, all the time, and a 78.4-year orgasm with money showering on you and ice cream being fed to you at the same time. It's not what it is. It's existence. Isn't that interesting? Go to a museum just to look, just to read a book, something. I know. I hate to sound like my mother, but I'm not saying that from. She would always say, "Go read a book." When we were kids and we were bored, and like, what kid wants that? That's boring. No kid wants to read a book. What I'm saying is, that is more stimulation, more entertainment, and more enjoyment of life than not having life at all. So, that's all we got. Hopefully you learned something. And definitely, I know a lot of you, especially my viewers and followers, are depressed because of political and economic reasons. Read Enjoy the Decline. That's the primary reason I wrote it. So get that. It's available on Amazon Kindle. That's all we got. Toodles.